A good evening to you. In business news at this hour, the National Employers Association of South Africa has called for government to stop subsidizing ArcelorMittal. NIASA's call comes days after AMSA warned that over 3,000 jobs remain at stake as its long steel business could still close. The company is pushing for more state intervention after a 16 billion rand loan from the Industrial Development Corporation. It has highlighted that Transnet's poor rail performance, high tariffs and cheap imports are a significant impediment. On the other hand, NIASA CEO Gerhard Papenfus has argued that AMSA's inability to supply steel at affordable prices is a major contributor to the decline of its customer base. He joins us now. Thank you so much for your time, Gerhard. Now, NIASA has described government's intervention efforts so far to save ArcelorMittal South Africa as excessive. Tell us why.
Well, just in respect of AMSA's long steel production line, government has assisted them since June last year to the amount of 3.5 billion rand. But it doesn't help. Now, there's already a 52% duty on imports. And if they say with that 52% import duty, they're still struggling with cheap imports. I don't know how it can be. That just shows to what extent these duties impacts on the downstream. Can you imagine what we would have had in terms of the downstream if we had good quality, affordable steel? The downstream would have thrived. That is not the case. So they're killing the downstream. They're using tax money to prop up this animal. And to what end? How much more must we pay them? What more can we do? And in the meantime, the duties are killing the downstream. So AMSA is by asking or having this import duty is killing its own clients. Now, they can't survive. Without clients, there won't be an AMSA. There won't be a long steel production line. So we say the industry needs to start preparing for the end of the long steel facility. Cannot continue. Where does it end? If you've paid 3.5 billion rand in 1 year, do they need more money? Do they need more protection? I can't see that happening.
Now, would you say that ArcelorMittal itself is forcing the state into a bit of a corner here with the continued threat that jobs are at stake and that should the long steel business close, not much of industry activity would be fostered going forward? What's your take on the manner in which AMSA has positioned its need for state intervention, but at the same time how the state is responding to, you could call it bluntly, some sort of bullying? Well,
of course that's concerning. When AMSA tells government that unless they assist them, there is 3,500 jobs at stake. Of course, that's huge. But what do you do? Is this the type of model that we will engage in future, paying them? We're supposed to still have a free market to an extent. And in this market, if you cannot make it, then there needs to be an alternative. Now, what is the alternative here? Well, you need to import affordable steel. And there is steel available. The world you can get it from elsewhere. Of course, there will be difficulty. I mean, our ports is a problem, rail is a problem. But what's the alternative? Keep on paying, using tax money, IDC money to assist AMSA. That can't be. There's research done that there are countries, Ireland, Denmark, Norway, their per capita usage of steel is 4 times what we have in South Africa. They don't have primary steel producers, but they have strong downstreams. They have significant downstream steel manufacturing facilities. So how do you get a strong downstream, many strong manufacturing facilities? It's when you have affordable steel. Now, we don't get it through AMSA. So, I'm not saying there won't be a difficulty in the short term, but on the long term, we'll have to make hard decisions. It cannot continue like that, because if we're going to continue like that, we will not have a downstream in years to come.
And lastly, those hard decisions that you reference, obviously they would be coming from the state. And what would NIASA be saying to the government of South Africa in ensuring that there is a climate that is built of a healthy environment for the steel business to thrive?
Jacob, our ports and rail. That is where the focus needs to be. That is what we need. We need ports and efficient rail. When we have that, import steel. Not having a primary steel producer is not the end of the story. There are countries that do not have that and thrive. Many of them. That is to have one is good, but you don't. If you can't afford one, then don't have one, and we cannot afford this one.
Thank you so much for your contribution, NIASA CEO Gerhard Papenfus, talking to us about their objections around the state's assistance to ArcelorMittal South Africa.